Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to your Lunch Break Live. Today is April the 29th. It is Thursday, and it is a fun day today, and that is because it is the start of the NFL Draft. The first round starts tonight, 7 p.m. Central, and there are quite a few Alabama players that we expect to be tapped tonight and throughout the entire draft. So I thought this would be a fun day to take a break from some of the hard news we've had going on, especially this week, and talk about something that most of us in Alabama love, and that is football. So I have AL.com's own Mark Abbott. He is here to talk about some of the top prospects for tonight, what we can expect moving forward, and who's going to go first. So, Mark, so glad to have you joining us today. I don't think you can see it because of my graphic, but I've got my Super Bowl shirt on, so I'm trying to rep my teams here at least. So, Mark, I know everybody's been asking this, but who of our Alabama players, and when I say Alabama, I mean UA and Auburn, who's going in the first round?
Well, tonight you're going to see at least 4 Alabama players will be picked in the first round. After that, of course, the draft is the ultimate chain of event because everything depends on what happens in the pick before. So you could have 7 guys from Alabama be drafted in the first round tonight, or you might only have 4, but you're going to have 4. The 2 wide receivers, Smith and Waddle, are going to be drafted. Surtain's going to be drafted. And it seems like, even though a lot of people don't want him to, Mac Jones is going to be drafted, probably maybe before any of those players. Just depends on what San Francisco does at number 3 in the draft. And if we knew that, we could all be rich by tonight, because I read a thing from the Action Network that pick, the 3rd pick in the draft, is the most bet upon pick in the history of the NFL draft because of the uncertainty and the way it's kind of flowed as things went on. It was Mac Jones came out of nowhere. He's going to be picked, all that. And now it's like, they were just not really. So we're going to have to see.
Well, I want to talk about Mac Jones for a minute, and that is because let me pull out all of my gear here. I am a very proud Niners fan. I've got a pillow behind me. I've got this, and that is something that I know people for some reason either love or hate Mac Jones. Now, tonight I don't think that my opinion matters here, but that is my team's. The Niners pick is 3rd, and why wouldn't they go for Mac Jones? We know that the Niners probably need a good quarterback. So what's happening there? Why are some people saying that they don't think or don't want Mac Jones to go 3rd?
Well, every team needs a good quarterback in the NFL. It is the most important position on the field, and they have a good quarterback. They have a good quarterback in Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo's problem is he can't stay on the field. As Kyle Shanahan said just the other day, that is the problem with Jimmy. He's played 6 or whatever years it is in the NFL. He's played more than 6 games in the season once, and he went to the Super Bowl. That's a pretty good record if they could keep him on the field. They can't keep him on the field. So they want a good quarterback. The problem with Mac Jones is not anything wrong with Mac Jones. It's that there's also a lot of hype about, well, there are 5 quarterbacks, but 2 of them are going to be gone. Which 2? Probably Trevor Lawrence, probably Zach Wilson. That seems to be the consensus of what everybody's saying. Mac Jones is up with Ohio State's Justin Fields, North Dakota State's Trey Lance. They look more like what people want to say the future quarterback in the NFL will be. Mobile, run around, all that. Mac Jones looks like Tom Brady, which I don't think is such a bad thing since he just won the Super Bowl last year and 6 more before it. And if you want to look at running quarterbacks, you don't have one that's won the Super Bowl anytime lately. You have mobile quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes, who runs to pass, but not a scrambling quarterback for yardage like you would think Lance would be or Fields would be. So they're up against that. And there's a lot of folks who, the draft experts, people who make their living talking about the draft, who talent evaluators say he is not as good or he is not going to be as good, Mac Jones, as Fields or Lance. He doesn't have the magic word in draft, which is upside. This is as good as he's going to get. I'd say he was pretty good last year. We'll see how he goes. The thing about the 49ers is they have a coach who believes very strongly in his scheme, in his system, and in himself. Because he could say, look, I took Jimmy Garoppolo to the Super Bowl. It depends on how you look at it there. So people hating on Mac Jones is not Mac Jones himself. It's everything else around it. I would rather have Justin Fields, or I would rather have Trey Lance. The one certainty about the NFL draft is angry fans. And if you get on Twitter today, the Chicago Bears, they ain't made a pick yet. And then they're already in a foaming rage about who they're going to pick.
That's something that
unfortunately,
most topics, you're always going to have angry fans on anything nowadays we talk about. But we know that who's got the first pick? The Jaguars have the first pick tonight. And we know that the kind of rumored pick there is Trevor Lawrence. Do you think that that is the first pick?
Oh, yeah. If that's not the first pick, I don't know who would be. They're going to pick Trevor Lawrence. I think everybody agrees with that, and I think they already know that. They've done everything they can do not to say that, but I think they've already said it, and he's going to be the first pick. And it's going to be interesting. Is this the new era of the Jacksonville Jaguars with Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence? Does it start tonight, or did it start when they hired Urban Meyer? Or will it start when they actually win a game because they've lost 15 in a row to get to this point? I don't know. But the Jaguars were only, not too many years ago made it to the AFC Championship game and then drove off a cliff. Then we're back picking year number one. Although the Jaguars have actually never picked number one before. They picked second 4 or 5 times, but never number one. So this will be new for them. And, you could say, are they going to mess it up like almost everything else seems to happen to them? They just can't seem to, one of those teams that just have the reverse Midas touch. It just, no matter how hard they try, that just happens to them.
Just can't do it. Well, let's talk about some more of our Alabama picks, or some of our Alabama players that we expect to be picks. So tell us, we talked about Mac Jones. Who is next? Who do we think is going to be picked in the first round tonight from one of our Alabama schools?
Well, all your picks tonight from Alabama will be from Alabama, from the Crimson Tide. Now, you could have a player from Blount High School, Kadarius Toney, who was a wide receiver at Florida. He could be a first-round pick. It will just depend down there how the wide receivers fall out. But from Alabama, you're going to have, it looks like Jones. You're certainly going to have Devontae Smith. You're certainly going to have Jalen Waddle. In which order, it's hard to know. You would think, well, Smith won the Heisman Trophy last year, so he must be pretty good. But he weighed in at the medical part of the combine at 166 pounds, and that's kind of light for a pro football player. And also, Waddle is really fast. And if you look at last year's draft, people probably, even NFL people, did not think that Henry Ruggs III was a better wide receiver than Jerry Jeudy or CeeDee Lamb or maybe even Justin Jefferson. But he was the first wide receiver picked, and for a very good reason. He was the fastest one. So Waddle is very fast. So there's a good chance he might go before Smith. But they're going to go high. Patrick Surtain is going to go high as a corner. He'll be the first or the second cornerback pick. So that will be in the first half of the first round. After that, you could have Christian Barmore, defensive tackle. You could have Landon Dickerson, center. They could be picked. Najee Harris could be picked at running back. It just depends on how we're looking at running backs this year. Last year, we had one running back picked in the first round. He was the last guy picked in the first round, the LSU running back.
We've got somebody saying that he's been seeing all the running backs go late. So we know that we said Waddle is going to go tonight, Devontae Smith going tonight, even though he's pretty light there. And that's, I think, a problem that most of us would love to have, but not one for an NFL player wants to have. So where do we think that some of these players will go? Where do we think that Waddle is going to go, at least your projections or the draft projections at the moment? Where do we think Waddle's going? Where do we think Devontae Smith is going?
Well, a lot of the picks have Waddle going to the Giants or the Lions at 7 or 11. Devontae Smith people would like to see him go to the Dolphins at number 6 and be reunited with Tua. That would be such a nice marketing tool for one thing, but they would really like to see that. But I think that could happen. But again, it depends on what does Atlanta do it for? What does Cincinnati do at 5? Then Miami will know what they can do at 6. You see those guys going to those teams. But actually, in my last mock draft, I had the Patriots trading up to take Waddle because he's exactly what they need. The focus in New England is on the quarterback play, because they had Tom Brady for 20 years, and then Cam Newton came in last year, and he had some good games and some not so good games. And they want to see that addressed. And a lot of people have them trading up to get Justin Fields if the 49ers do not pick Justin Fields. That would be interesting. But what they need is an electrifying wide receiver like Waddle is. You see him compared a lot to Tyreek Hill, who played at West Alabama, who's with the Chiefs. He's very fast, but it's not just that he's very fast. He's very more than straight line fast, and he's very fast, and that means when 5 yards off the line, he's already running his top speed.
We've got Roy saying that he's seeing Waddle or Smith going to Dolphins. I got Cody saying he sees one of them being picked by Carolina or the Bucks. So, Mark, we've touched on those. What about Najee? We know that Najee Harris is a household name at this point, and the sports team here at AL.com did a great job on their Road to the Pro series featuring Najee Harris. So, where do you see Najee going?
Well, in my mock draft, I had him going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And which I think would be wonderful because they need a running back. He's a 230-pound running back. An old guy like me can remember when Franco Harris was a big back and he was excelled for the Steelers. Jerome Bettis, a big back, excelled for the Steelers. You could see Harris doing that. But it just depends on how they value running backs this year. Last year, the best rookie running back was the kid at Jacksonville. He was not drafted. So you have a lot of guys going, you know what? I can get a running back in the 3rd round, the 4th round, whatever. I can't get a starting left offensive tackle in the 3rd round. Derrick Henry was a 2nd round draft pick. Okay. So if Derrick Henry is not a 1st round draft pick after what he did and looking at what he's done, maybe I never will draft a running back in the 1st round again if I'm a general manager.
So I know, again, that 1st round starts tonight, 7 p.m. Central. I know you're going to be watching it. Mark, will you have all of this info for especially our University of Alabama fans? Will you have all this info on these players on AL.com tonight?
Yeah, we're going to be live. We're going to be live updating the draft tonight on AL.com. So it'll be a lot of fun. There's so much information to look for in the draft. The number of players, Alabama could conceivably break the record for the most 1st round draft picks from one school in one draft. LSU set the SEC record last year with 5. And then the overall record is Miami of Florida had 6 in 2004. Alabama could get there. Or they might not. It just depends. But they could get to 6 or 7. Or actually, if you look at mock drafts all around, you'll see 8 guys from Alabama going in the 1st round. And not all together, though, because Alex Leatherwood, the offensive tackle, is also, he's going to be at least a 2nd round pick. So right people, right things happen, he moves up into the first round. That's all it takes. It only takes one team to like you that much. And that's no matter what 31 other teams think of you, which might be the Mac Jones thing going on this year. It only takes the San Francisco 49ers to really like you to make you the third pick in the draft.
Well, that's what we like as Niners. We like to shake things up. So, Mark, thank you so much for all of your insight. I know you are the man with the data here, and we will look forward to all of your analysis tonight on AL.com.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Mark, thank you. Everybody watching, thank you. Make sure you tune into the draft 7 p.m. and stay tuned on AL.com for your live coverage.